So we'll start at the front here with the Ram. This is an Enterprise truck, Ram 3500. I will do a review on it per se later, especially after I've gotten a chance to run it in the Ford as well. Nothing crazy about it. It's a 3500 set up for towing. So it's got the DOT kit, so it has mud flaps and the fire extinguisher and all that fun stuff. We're going in the shade now and see if the camera adjusts pretty well. So yeah, it's got, I did add this toolbox into the back, and then you'll see that in the bed here, it rained pretty hard the other night, so it knocked a bunch of limbs down. You'll see these bed rails that run across here. So those come with the, these come with the truck, the Enterprise truck, and that middle plate is, I bought that. That goes, just dropped into the fifth wheel rails, and boom, I've got a gooseneck hookup. So yeah, that comes set up that way. It's pretty nice. Nothing too crazy about this truck. So let's move on. What I want to show you is the trailer. So here it is. It's a load trail, low profile, air ride trailer. We'll start at the front. I'll kind of walk through some of the upgrades I did to it. The first thing is this coupler here is actually a 30K coupler. So it's a little bit step up. You can see I've got a 30K plate. So I've set up everything to be able to haul 30K. Everything on this trailer is set up for 30,000 pounds. The front here, you'll notice this one has something special. I want to show this deck on the neck, okay? This right here is a small platform on top that allows me to add some lightweight stuff up top there. Now this is one of the differences I was telling you about. I only did one of these trailers set up with that. The reason being, it adds weight, so I'm not too certain about it. And the other downside to it is, well, it does add weight, or I'm not certain about fuel economy. With that up there, is that hurting my fuel economy? So what I'm doing is I'm going to test it on just this one trailer, and we're going to compare it to the other two, which won't have it. See if it, I have had one load that it was helpful, but I've had one load that it actually hurt because it was so close to the weight limit. I couldn't fill up my auxiliary fuel tank without going overweight. So I had to be a little bit downside for that. So yet to see if it pays off, but I only did one up front just to make certain. Another upgrade, this is really cool. The guys at Sandcrest, which I'll advertise for them right here. Sandcrest Trailer Sales out in Rogersville. Or not, well, they have a spot in Rogersville, but also Billings, Missouri. These guys have been fantastic. I would recommend going to them. The main thing that they've been fantastic about is the load trail's got its issues, and I'll explain them. The load trail has some of its issues, but Sandcrest has been wonderful to deal with. You know, they don't have a lot of say on the trailer. They do have a say on the brand they rep. I've liked this trailer overall, a couple little issues. So the first thing I want to start with is this is what Sandcrest did. This is a 45-gallon tank wired in, and these guys did, I want to show you some of what they did. The wiring jobs they did are super well done, all tied in really nicely. Weatherproof switches. These switches control a light that you can't see. It's up there. It actually lights up this area, so when I'm fueling at night I can see. And then they also added a light bar right there that lights up my cargo area. And these switches, those light bars, no joke. It lights up a lot. And then also you can see there's the light underneath to light up my fuel area. Now, I want to explain why I did this. I put this fueling station here because if I put it in the truck, you can see I have a toolbox up there. That toolbox isn't very heavy. Two people can move it pretty easily. These trucks are rentals, as I said, and by having an auxiliary fuel tank in the truck, every 6 to 8 months I would be swapping the tanks out. So that was going to be really annoying. Well, by putting it on here, it's very simple. I undo this hose, and we're actually, Sandcrest is going to help me make a little better hose rack for that rather than the way we have it gone there. And we're going to, so it'll be a little nicer. But ultimately, now when I bring this truck in and trade it out, this fuel system stays with the trailer. So I own the trailers. So that'll be really nice. This is a custom built tank. Sandcrest actually helped me buy it. I don't even think they marked up the tank. That's how awesome these guys were. I had to pay for labor but I'm telling you, look at this. This is all aftermarket. And you know, this bar here, this is how they built it to hold in. This bar here is not factory. These guys built these in. He's really good at welding, but you know, they thought, hey, let's bolt this in. Way if I ever have tank issues, I can undo this and pull that tank up. So pretty cool. Really like Sandcrest. Now I'm going to start off with one downside to this trailer that I'm not super happy about. There's a spare tire up here. Okay, well, the spare tire drops down because of that deck over the neck. That's not the problem. It's heavy. It's really heavy. That's not the problem. I understand that. What I have a problem with is this is OEM, okay, from Load Trail. I'll try to show you that. This is the latch they use to hold it. Now there's a safety chain right here, but I just want to show you the latch, how it's welded on. It just doesn't seem, and look, I mean, it's barely catching in this, and that thing has to weigh 100 pounds, and it's barely catching there. Now I haven't had any issues, and there is the safety chain, but it just seems like that could have been installed a little better from the factory. Again, that's factory. So, okay, so let's move on. I don't want to get too hung up in that. I upgraded the jacks. I would highly recommend doing this. These are Jost 2-speed jacks, like on a semi. They still have the spring-loaded feet, so you push these down, so you don't have to crank as much. But the 2-speed makes a huge difference, especially when you're empty like this, and you're trying to, you see these trucks squat. So in order to crank it all the way up, it can be time consuming to get it up off the ball. But if you have a load on, you have to, so the 2-speed, you have to have the lower gear. So the 2-speed is really handy for that. They added this step on. I like this step. I've heard mixed feeling. I love the custom pinstriping. It's all hand painted. And because of that, you can find all sorts of little errors in it. All sorts of little smudges, and the lines are different. But on a trailer, I kind of like that. I kind of like how it's all, it's all custom. There's no other trailers can have this because some guy hand painted all this. So it's not a big deal to me. It looks really good from a little far away. So, but anyway, that bigger step, definitely worth it. I have a matching toolbox to this on the other side. Highly recommend putting toolboxes on your trailer. Holy cow, is it nice for all of your straps and your binders and your chains. So much nicer than trying to store everything in your pickup truck. They don't cost much. If you're gonna do them, get these toolboxes. I'd recommend at least 2. I got one on each side. I've been thinking about putting another one back here, underneath, right in front of the rear axle, just for some more storage. They're super handy having the toolboxes there. I added these as well. These are sliding ratchets, okay, sliding winches. So there's a rail there. They slide back and forth. Really handy. Again, I would highly recommend having them. I really like them. One thing, this is another downside to the Load Trail. Again, not Sandcrest's fault. This is from Load Trail. Okay, it's just a little thing. It wasn't a huge deal, but these ratchets have a little catch right here. This catch is what keeps it from unspooling. It's kind of like a boat crank, right? So it locks. Half of my winches, this was flipped over the other way, so it wasn't holding on. Not a huge deal, but at the customers, I had to take the bolt off the end, slide all of my winches out, flip them the right direction. That shouldn't get through quality, is what I'm saying. That should not have gotten through Load Trail's quality control. So just nothing huge, but it's little things like that that I feel like shouldn't have gotten through their quality control. All right, let's move to the back. So this is a low profile trailer. What that means, I'll show you guys, is it's a pierced frame. Do you see how the crossbars there actually go through? You see how they actually go through the main frame there? That drops this whole trailer down about 3 inches. So this trailer deck with air ride, with the air inflated, is about 35 inches off the ground. So it's nice and low, allows me to haul taller loads. Come back to the back here. Man, I'm glad I did this. What I did with this trailer is the black wheels I picked those. They had black, or I think you can move white. I thought the black would look cooler. I went with air ride. So far, I've hauled 14 loads. And out of those 14 loads, 2 of them I would not have gotten had I not had air ride. They were pretty good paying loads, and they were loads that they said, nah, we won't do it on a hot shot. We need air ride. Well, I have air ride. One of them was so strict on it, I had to take a picture of my air ride system. You can see it underneath here. I'd actually take a picture of that air ride and send it to them to show, that it actually had it. So has actually paid it off, and it makes for a much more comfortable ride towing this trailer. You hardly feel the trailer back here, suspension wise. You feel it weight wise, but suspension wise it's really nice. Tires, I upgraded the tires. I would highly recommend this. Tires scare the bejesus out of me. I don't want to be blowing tires. It costs a lot of money, costs a lot of time. So I went ahead and paid for the upgrade. These are 17.5 inch, not 16 inch, which is what most of these come with. 17.5 inch, 16 ply, I believe. 16 ply tires, yeah. So what that means is overall, these tires are rated for over 32,000 pounds. I'm never going to have more than 24,000 pounds on the axles because they're 12K axles. And the way I look at that is it gives me some flexibility, it gives me some wiggle room. I don't want to be dealing with tires. I'm so paranoid about tires. I actually put these Centromatics on too. My dad runs these on a semi. They're hard to see, but you can see through that hole. You see that little silver disc. They're called Centromatics. They're oil filled with like metal shot, like shotgun BBs. And as you drive, those things will supposedly balance out your set of duals here. Main thing for me is prolonging the life of these tires. That's the idea. Lastly, I did go with 12K oil bath. You can see, I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see, yep, you can see the oil in there. The main reason I went with oil bath, there are a lot of people saying that you should go with grease, or you should grease them. I don't know, as long as you do your inspection. I like that you can just go visually look, make sure there's oil in them. As long as there's oil in them, you're good. A lot of people like grease because they say if you lose your oil, you don't get to go very far before you wreck your entire hub. I don't know. It's up to you which way you want to go. I like the oil bath. Again, my dad drives over the road big truck. All his are oil bath. He's been pulling a trailer for 700,000 miles now, and I think he's never had a critical failure. I think he had one leaking one time and he got it fixed, but nothing too bad with them. I think if you take care of them and they're pretty low maintenance, you check them, make sure they're full of oil, you'll be fine. I went with oil bath for ease of maintenance. Now we're gonna get to the next little two things. One little, one not so little that Load Trail did. The first thing, here's the mud flaps. I want to show you this, okay? The mud flaps here, you notice it's curved? See how it's curved up there? If I actually went up there and showed you, which you don't really need to see, the bolt holes don't line up. The mud flap is trimmed. They actually cut a notch out of the top. They actually cut a notch like that out of the top just to try to make it fit, and it still doesn't fit. You can see that mud flap doesn't fit. Well, I called them and talked to them, and they basically told me straight up, like, this is the only mud flap we have. I'm sorry, but if you're a manufacturer of a professional product, you should have mud flaps that fit your trailer. So that bothers me a little bit. It's not a huge deal. Again, you should have mud flaps that fit your trailer, in my opinion, if you're making a professional trailer. The answer, well, we only have one style of mud flap, doesn't fly with me. Like, you should have more mud flaps then. You should have a mud flap that fits this trailer if you make it. Just my opinion. Now, the next thing, and this is the bad one. I want to show you. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if we can look under here. Okay, so you see at the top there's a big chunk of metal right behind that fitting. That fitting is my brake line. So this brass fitting right there is my brake line, okay? Right beside it is that big block. It's like a 1" by 1" block. What happens when I deflate these airbags, that block comes down, it sits on this axle, okay? It's designed to do that, no big deal. Well, the way they routed, and I need to go check this because I need to check on that hose and make sure. But the way they had that routed, the hose sat between that, and it pinched it off and actually blew my brake line. And I lost my brakes pulling an 18,000 pound load. I had no trailer brakes. That's dangerous. Again, from the factory, they had it routed incorrectly. That's a very dangerous thing. Now, Sandcrest again helped me take care of it. Hopefully, we're gonna get, I'm gonna get reimbursed for the repairs. But ultimately, that shouldn't happen. You should not be having brake failures because and I gotta, like I said, I gotta check, because you can see that hose is kind of close there. You shouldn't be having brake failures for that. So that's a negative, a big negative. The other ones are kind of small details. That's a big one. Load trail, that should never have gotten through. And I'll show you on the other side, it actually is required that you deflate these airbags when you load this trailer. It says right on the side of the deal. So it's designed to do that. But anyway, so this is, and the last feature I want to show you on the trailer is these max ramps. Now these are outstanding. I will never not have this on the trailer. There's a trade-off, there's always a trade-off. One, they weigh quite a bit, and two, they have to use this dovetail. So this dovetail means you do have to be careful going into and out of real steep driveways and stuff, because you can drag that back end. So in order to not drag, you just have to be careful. But what happens, I can show you, it's gonna make a little noise, but is you flip this up. It's this simple. Grab it. I can do it one-handed. It's all spring assisted. Boom. I now have a ramp, 10-foot long ramp up to the trailer. Super nice, and it's the width of the trailer. And then the beauty of it is when I need a full foot deck, or a full 40-foot deck, it becomes part of the deck. I love those. That I would highly recommend those. I know some people have the hydraulic dovetail. I'd rather not have another moving part on here, so that can fail. So this is my trailer. I will show you the other side here. This is the box that I was telling you about. We're gonna go around the outside. This box is actually what has all of my air ride and electric over hydraulic brake systems in it. Nothing crazy fun in there. We don't open it, but this is where it says, do not load trailer while airbags are inflated. So this trailer is designed to be loaded with the airbags deflated. So I should not have had that brake line get caught in there. That is problematic. But overall, this is my rig. I like it a lot. The negatives aside, I'm hoping Load Trail will help me work through these with Sandcrest. Overall, I'm really liking the trailer. It pulls really nicely. It really does. You don't even hardly notice it back there for something like this. You notice it's back there. I'm being a little bit over the top, but yeah. So a couple good things about the Load Trail that I like, that I just want to share with you. They went the extra mile on the side marker lights. I like them. It looks really sharp at night. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a turn signal. 5, 6, and then on the back there is a 7th red light on the side, which I think has to be there. But those all the way down the side at night, and then I got 2 up top there. The red one's up top. They look really sharp at night. This trailer does look really sharp. I know it's not necessary, but I do like that. And it wasn't an option. That's kind of cool. Load Trail just did that factory. I didn't pick that as an option. So I feel like they take pride in their work, but there's some little things that bugged me about it. But overall, very pleased with the trailer. Other than those few minor things, this is how I set it up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I did have some questions from last time. I do want to address those real quick. It has to do with the truck. I was mentioning that this is classified as a straight truck, so I'm switching to flatbeds. I think there's a little bit of confusion. The trucks will be the same truck. From here forward will be identical. In fact, they get the trucks in as a pickup, just like this. This is one of those stupid government laws, okay? So this is considered cargo. Okay, the way I understand it is this is considered cargo carrying. But an argument can be made, I think this is why they kind of let it go. It's not really cargo carrying when the trailer's in it. I mean, yeah, you could pack some boxes in there, but you can't put a pallet in there. So it's not really a straight truck. The straight truck law was made for actual straight trucks. Like, think of like a tow truck with a flatbed behind it, or something like that, that well hooked up to their trailer, they still have cargo carrying capacity. This does not. However, because our government's stupid, they actually classify this as a straight truck pulling a trailer. And what that means is that I'm limited in length. And I think I'm right at the length, or possibly even just a few inches over. So rather than worrying about it, what I'm gonna do is get these trucks. Enterprise does this. It costs me extra. It costs me 1 penny extra per mile, but it's worth it to me. And they will take this bed off, and they put basically a flatbed type deal on there. Well, that flatbed has a plate on it that you can remove, and then it is no longer considered cargo carrying. As long as you remove that plate, I think it's a plate that's actually in front of the gooseneck up here. So then maybe it's back here. I don't know exactly, but you remove that plate. It's 4 bolts. Remove that plate. It no longer is considered cargo carrying. It can be registered as a tractor, not a truck. Then the length limit is upgraded. You tell me how absolutely dumb that is. I mean, so by taking the pickup bed off and putting a different bed on, now I have a different length limit that makes 0 sense whatsoever. It's just another example of our bloated government regulations that make no sense. But anyway, so that was, I know they were asking me about that. I'm not actually going to a cab over or anything like that. They're identical trucks. In fact, they get them in just like this. Enterprise, for an extra penny a mile, takes the bed off, puts a flatbed on it, and then everything else is the same. But at that point, I can apportion it. Apportioning is what you do for taxes, so that a portion of all of your taxes get paid to the state you drive through. And I can apportion this as a tractor, no longer a truck, which means I have another 10 feet that I can make longer. So it gives me some benefits. Basically, I can take this, I can, maybe in the future, I can actually do like a mini step deck, where instead of having this big gooseneck coming over the top, I can do a lower fifth wheel, kind of like you see on a semi, and actually have like a step deck, have them build me a step deck type deal. And I can potentially go with a 44-foot trailer instead of a 40-foot trailer, because again, boom, now it can be longer. So yeah, so if you have any more questions, hopefully that answered those. If you have any more questions about the rig, let me know. I'll try to address them at the beginning of next episode. Like I said, I'm still going to use this. And also, I have a GoPro with a head mount now, so I should be able to do some really cool things for some future videos. So hope you liked it. We kept it under 25-minute episode. And if you have any questions, hopefully I covered everything. One last thing. We'll wait a little bit. But this is just my dunnage. This is spare wood you use for like supporting loads and things like that. Right now I just have it strapped to the front of the trailer. So Load Trail makes a undermount dunnage rack. I'm debating getting some of those and putting them on the trucks, because that's annoying to have to deal with. But anyway, that's for future. Maybe we'll add it. I don't know yet. Think about it. So yeah, this is the rig. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm planning on maybe doing a Wednesday rant, maybe we'll call it, where I'll talk about something related to business, but not do like an episode like this. And then on the weekends, we'll do an actual weekly episode that's longer, like this one. We'll go through some numbers. Next week, I plan on actually going through some numbers on what this rig from bumper to bumper cost me to operate per mile. And where I came up with it, and why cheap freight is absolutely killing small companies who think they're making a lot of money and then they end up going out of business. So thanks for watching.